There's a. Okay, right. Let's do the scenario. I'm at the door. I can see you in there. You might as well come open the door. Carl, why are you staying so still? Are you trying to avoid me?
It's working.
Carl, your eyes are moving. Can you come to the door, please?
I suppose in the end you've got to move
Carl, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here until you have to move. Carl. This is the most pointless podcast we've ever done. Me shouting your name and you pretending not to be here. Okay, and I'll move on then. Right.
It works.
Yeah,
Works perfectly.
Because once they've got you, that's the whole thing with charity. Once they've stopped you in the street, if you've stopped, that's it.
Keeps on going.
You're handing something over.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times I've been stopped. I mean, the good thing now is you've got an iPod, so you can just either pretend you're on the phone or listen to music.
Or just stay very still. Just freeze when someone says, "Can I trouble you for..." Oh, he's totally frozen.
That would be amazing, because they're normally in one spot, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's just
So
they're
as soon
carrying
as
on
they
selling,
stop you,
and
so
you've got
you
to
just
stay there
freeze
for
it,
the rest of it, outside Waitrose
Yeah.
for 7 hours.
Yeah, it goes dark. Well, I've finished my shift, I'm off. And then you just see, your eyes just see them walk away like that, and they all meet in their little tunics. And then you start walking, they look back, and you freeze. And then they walk on. And then you can go home 7 hours late.
If you would like to donate to Comic Relief, why not visit rednoseday.com. Ever since I was young, I've always liked going in charity shops, particularly because, you know, you find sort of interesting old records in there. Never sort of gone in there to buy clothes and stuff, but, you know, books, whatever. And I was in a charity shop, you know, and I've patronised them for years, and I noticed out through the window there was like a paparazzi guy, and he was taking pictures of me through the window. That was a bit weird. And obviously the old ladies in there didn't have any idea who I was, so they just thought that was a bit strange. And then it was in one of the magazines, like the kind of celebrity magazines. It was, oh, here's Steve Merchant. You know, despite all the money he must have made from his various projects, he's still going in charity shops. And you just think, but sorry, how is that a bad thing? I'm giving my money to a charity. Isn't that a noble cause? I mean, obviously that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it
To save 50p.
to save 50p, of course, but
they don't know
they
that.
don't know that.
No.
They
You won't be
don't know
going there
me.
and going, "Keep the change, love." You never have said that.
Never said that.
Never said that in your life.
No, occasionally I'll shoplift. I'm no mug. 70p? Don't you think that seems frustrating, though, that...
Yeah, but what do you expect? What are they going to do? They're not going to say Steve Merchant, Heart of Gold, are they?
I just thought all these things would slowly accumulate towards the OBE.
Yeah, I know. I think you've got to do a bit more than get Roger Whittaker's greatest hits for 10p.
My mum's always in them, and because my mum goes in them, my dad sort of got into going into them now because, you know, the weather's not good or whatever, and he thinks rather than standing outside, he went in one, and he was after a jacket, just like a sort of a, you know, casual but quite smart.
Yeah.
He's quite a big bloke, so it's difficult to find them, right? So he's in there, sees the jacket, goes, "Oh look, here's that sort of jacket that I'm after." Picks it up, tries it on. Oh, it fits. It's good, this, isn't it? She's going, yeah. While she's looking at, you know, a toad that you put money in or whatever.
Yeah.
So he gets to the counter, and it's got a price tag on it, £8, right? So he said, "I'll give you £6." He had £6 in his pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you £6 for that. She went, "No, it's £8." Now that's wrong, isn't it? That's a good price, and it's £6. They've got it for nothing.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't have any of it. He said, surely something's better than nothing. If you don't give me this for £6, it's going back on the hanger. And they said, "No, sorry."
Yeah, but they might later sell it for £8.
But they might not, and it's been given to them for free.
Yeah,
so
but
what does it matter?
But the old
Who's
lady's
come
not...
up with the price of £8? Who is this?
Yeah.
They don't
she's
know
not
how much it's
haggling.
worth.
She's not there to haggle. Someone's priced it up, and she's just a volunteer who's...
Maybe she thought of it that she was losing the charity £2 as opposed to gaining it £6.
But they haven't gained anything because he put it back on, and how many people want it? How many people are looking out for that jacket?
It might have been the principal. She might have thought, oh, you can't haggle when it's for charity.
It was a fair price. I give a lot of stuff to charity. A lot. Most of the time, just because it's nearer than the wheelie bin is. It's just a way of getting rid of garbage most of the time with me. Stick it all in a bin bag, good stuff on the top, the stuff that you're embarrassed about, stick it in the bottom of the bag.
What are you embarrassed about?
Just old shoes, trainers.
Some of the books you've written.
Socks, underpants.
Underpants! You do not give underpants to charity.
Washed.
But who's gonna wash? I know, as opposed to just like peeling them off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you've got a problem with underpants, but shoes. You see, I'd
Who's
never buy
buying
shoes.
underpants from a charity shop, though? I mean, I don't care how low you are on the socio-economic level.
I know.
You can get about 14 pairs for £1 in some places.
I know. I don't know who's buying underpants. I don't know who's buying your underpants. I definitely don't know.
I mean, if they were signed,
yeah.
That is something I like doing though. When I've given to charity, I like going past the shop and seeing if it made it in the window.
any success?
Yeah, recently the one not far from here had me egg cups in the window. So it's like, oh look, there's
What, you've got a new set of egg cups, so you've got rid of your old ones?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got any egg cups.
Haven't you?
No,
Why
I don't
not?
think so. I don't.
You don't have boiled eggs?
I can't imagine you. It would take. You'd be too impatient to boil an egg, Rick.
Well, yeah, I just it's just those things you think of never buying. You know, like egg cups, a whisk.
No, but you do eventually.
I suppose you got to, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's things that were just always there when you grow up, isn't it? That you have to go and you think of, but not second hand though.
But there's nothing wrong. Honestly, it's hardly. I mean, it's made the window space. That's how good it was. It had hardly been used, that egg cup, because it was a doubler, and I think they were quite small for the egg size that I get. I think they were made more for the small egg, and I have the large egg.
Right.
So it was never really
Just
used.
like your underpants.
But
Are you ever been a charity shopper, Rick?
Yeah. What I used to do a lot of was records and tapes and things like that. But it ended up sort of being ironic. It really ended up like getting something like Shane Rich's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And things like that.
a bit of a dilemma that my auntie Nora had. She likes charity shops as well. She's got a neighbour. Went out to Graceland's, big Elvis fan. They came back. She said, "How was Graceland's?" They said, "Oh, it was brilliant. Best holiday we've ever had. Probably go back again. Back again. We've got a gift for you." Right? They get out this clock, like a little sort of. It's like a Swiss. Do you know the Swiss sort of? Looks like a little
clock.
house, like a cuckoo clock. But on the hour, little Elvis comes out the top and goes, Right? So she went, "Oh, cheers." She's not really into Elvis. She's more into Jim Reeves and Glenn Campbell and stuff.
Yeah.
But what can you say? She said, "Oh, thanks for that." She put it in, took it in the house.
Maybe they could get attachments. Maybe you get a little Jim Reeves to pop on the spring. Change it anything you like So Solid Crew. You can get a little So Solid Crew, and that pops out, or whoever.
So anyway, it's in the house. She's thinking, "I'm not going to put that up. It's not her sort of thing." So thinks, give it to charity.
Of course.
She goes down to the charity shop, gives them that, thinks nothing of it, goes off to the pub for an afternoon drink. Anyway, next day she's going out for an afternoon drink again. Passes the charity shop. It's in the window.
And the chances are her friends are going to pass by.
That was a dilemma.
Of course.
She had to buy it back.
That's brilliant.
At a hugely inflated price. For those that are American listeners, Comic Relief here is a sort of it happens every other year, and people often do things in their workplace or at school. They can dress up, they can raise money in different fun ways, and we were told in a school assembly, it was Comic Relief next Friday, everyone has to come along dressed up in fancy dress to school on that day.
Has to.
Yeah, they said have to dress up. They said you pay 50p towards Comic Relief, and you have to pay £1 if you don't dress up.
That's annoying, isn't it?
So of course I'm looking forward to this because I'm a sort of aspiring comedian and that get to dress up like a clown, right? Spent quite a lot of time getting the old clown outfit together.
What did that look like?
The shoes, obviously, I just wore my regular shoes.
Exactly, yeah.
But I had the red nose, a wig,
Wow.
the whole deal, big bow tie that my mum made for me, I thought this is going to be the best day ever, right? Get to school, I want you to picture this scene, right? During the assembly in my class of 30. school uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school uniform. Lanky kid dressed as a clown. School uniform, school uniform, school uniform, school. There was 3 people in the entire school who dressed up.
But Steve, you're 50p.
Yes, but then worse than that, it turns out I was furious because I looked like an utter dick. Obviously, it turns out that what happened, I don't know whether I'd missed this information, but apparently the headmaster must have had another assembly where he told people that he wasn't allowed to enforce that rule about making people pay
that's good.
against their will.
Yeah.
So obviously no one showed up dressed like an utter dick except me and about 2 other knobs.
What disappoints me is that for a man who was a self-confessed aspiring comedian, you chose the least funny thing in the world to dress as. Carl, what doesn't annoy you? That's the question, really.
No, I'm not going to sit here and different things annoy me, but I don't just go about getting annoyed.
Seems
Stuff
like
happens. No. Stuff happens.
What's
and
annoyed you this week?
I mean, I tend to get annoyed when people around me get annoyed. I'm never the one who's going in somewhere getting annoyed. I'm quite happy-go-lucky, me.
You're having a laugh.
I'm not.
That's rubbish.
There
is nothing about... No one would ever say that.
No one...
How would you describe Karl Pilkington?
Oh, he's happy-go-lucky. Whenever I see him, he's skipping along, whistling a tune.
I whistle a lot, I've told you. I'm
Yeah,
always
only to
whistling.
annoy people when you're playing Scrabble.
No, I just... At the end of the day, I think the problem is, most of the day, I'm on my own.
Right.
Right? I'm doing DIY at home. I'm quite happy. No one's there annoying me. I
Right.
go for my lunch later than everyone else, so I don't have to see people.
He's like Quasimodo, isn't he? It's like
Why?
coming down when everyone else is not there.
When no one's around.
Yeah.
Suzanne!
No, but then that's the problem. Suzanne then comes home. She's been sort of with people, so she comes in with loads of energy, and I'm going, just slow down. Stop going on. Then she's breaking stuff, and that's probably the last
What do
thing.
you mean she's breaking?
She's heavy-handed with all the stuff I've been fixing. She broke the shutters. What else did she break? the
Well, you
other
could
day?
have done a good job.
I did do a
The
good job.
shutters? Where do you live? In the Old West?
What do you mean the shutters?
Some shutters on a window. She heavy
I like
handed
it
with them.
dark. I don't want them to see me. What a mum.
So what else has she broken?
She's always breaking stuff. The light switch outside. Heavy-handed. Don't. She forces things. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter how hard you hit it or how hard you pull it. Just tell me if it doesn't work and I'll sort it. That's what I do these days. I'm like a caretaker to Suzanne's house. I'm wandering around and replacing stuff that she's fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
So she annoys you. She comes home. You've had a lovely day of peace on your own.
So the only person that likes you and talks to you annoys you.
And when you're at home doing your DIY, I want to picture that scene.
Well, okay, right. We've never done this before, right? But let's do a typical day. We've known each other now. How long have we known Carl? Nearly 10 years.
Feels like a long time,
right?
yeah.
So let's do a typical day in the life of Karl Pilkington.
So, for my first question is, what time does Suzanne have to wake up? Does that annoy you? Does she have to get up earlier than you?
Because she's got a proper job.
The alarm goes off.
What time?
About 7.
That seems early.
Yeah, but I'm used to it now.
Okay.
At the
Now, you
moment,
spring out of bed, make her a cup of tea, do you?
no.
Right.
I let her get up, mess about.
By mess about, you mean get ready for work,
Yeah.
right?
She's not being quiet, so I'm awake now. Right?
What do you mean she's not being quiet?
Well, she's just banging about, like I say, heavy-handed. I don't know how she does it. It's just doors and stuff. Everything seems like the Hulk's in the house. Bounding about. Just don't be heavy-handed with it. When even like pulling the curtains shut and stuff, because it's not her who has to fix it. Do you know what I mean? When she's yanking at them and pulling them open, it's like just pull them like that. I've put them on a nice rail. Just pull them slowly like that.
Right.
It's things like that.
This sounds like these jobs aren't done correctly.
That's what
they
I'm
are
thinking.
done proper.
No, because if you get if you get a bad pair of jeans and someone says, "Oh, you've ripped it," a good pair of jeans, they won't rip, boy.
No, just look after it. It doesn't matter if you've got good jeans or poor jeans. Treat them the same. Look after your stuff. I've always been like that.
I know,
I've
yeah.
told you from a young age I didn't like people sitting on my bed. after I'd made it. It was like, I've gone to the trouble, I've made it, there's no creases in it, don't sit on it. There's a chair there, use the chair.
Sure. Okay. That's mental, but yeah.
It's not mental.
It's the behaviour of a
It's not
psychopath.
mental.
Yeah.
So Suzanne's
she's
passionate
up.
about the place.
So the doors, I mean, what's up with the doors? Do they squeak, or is the catch been done wrongly on them, or
no,
is it the
hasn't.
wrong
No.
wood or something?
No, just heavy-handed.
No. Right, okay.
So then, she has a shower.
Right.
If I have a shower, I like to go second, because I've got the Mr. Muscle spray that she doesn't do properly.
Right.
do you breakfast together?
Just sit on the bed, have some...
have you made the bed yet?
Yeah, it's made.
Well, don't sit on the bed if it's made.
No,
madness.
I've
Sit on
calmed
the
down
chair.
now. I've calmed down, that's what I've said to her. As I'm getting older,
Yeah.
I'm easing a bit.
Yeah, you're like Doris Day.
So, sit on the bed, look
Why
out
are
the
you having
window.
breakfast not sat on the bed? That
Yeah,
makes sense
it
to
doesn't
me.
make sense,
Either
yeah.
have breakfast in bed,
Just 'cause
classic,
the
or have it
radio-
at the kitchen table.
The radio's in there, and it's just kind of...
So you get up, make breakfast, and go back and sit on the bed because the radio's
What's
in there.
going on with the crumbs, Rick?
I don't know what the crumbs are doing,
The
but I don't
crumbs
know why
all
they've
over-
got two radios.
Crumbs. Hang on, you don't know what I'm having. I'm having cornflakes. No crumbs with cornflakes.
No,
Right
but
then.
So you're having two of you are sat there. Are you sat on opposite sides of the bed looking at each other, or are you both sat on the sides
No,
of the bed
sat-
looking at the wall, listening to the radio, eating a bowl of cornflakes?
Yeah.
well,
Relax.
are you sort of cross-legged on the bed, or your legs are down on the
Just
floor?
down on the floor.
Right.
Fully clothed now. You've had the showers.
Might have a t-shirt on and my undies.
Okay.
I haven't put my socks on yet. I don't like socks. I'd put them on last.
Why don't you like socks?
They just cut off your freedom.
I don't know how socks can cut off anything.
It's alright if your feet are cold, they're nice to put on, but I don't
Hmm.
know, my socks are never that well fitting, so I don't really enjoy
But
wearing
why don't you
them.
get socks that fit
Yeah,
you?
get
Because
the
I
right
never buy
size.
socks, do I?
They
I
should
let
be the
other
same
people-
size as your shoes.
Yeah,
little
I let
roll.
other people buy them for me, and they're never quite right.
But hold on though, this is a rule you've imposed on yourself.
I'm only telling you because you've asked. I didn't come in here moaning about it. I'm just
Socks
saying,
cut off your freedom. Never heard that before.
Okay. Mandela said it.
Well, yeah, never heard socks compared to the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, I think William Wallace said it as well. Right.
Yeah, imagine that in Braveheart. Just takes his socks off and goes,
Yeah.
freedom!
Yeah.
Anyway, then I'll say, right, on your way to work, take the bin bag out.
Right.
She'll do that, and then I get on with whatever I've got to do that day.
Little kiss on the cheek, on the
But
forehead.
why do you say
Pat on the head.
who pats who on the head?
I'll just sort of rub the back of her head. There you go. See you later.
Then what? You're there. You got your pants on. You got your t-shirt on.
Well,
you
you
had
listen
your
to the
cornflakes.
news. You listen to what's being said on the radio. We'll have a little discussion about it. Sometimes she's in the mood for it. Sometimes she'll go, "Don't worry about it."
Right. What now? What would she say that to then? What would you worry about if you heard on the news?
I heard something about worms getting teeth,
Right.
and she was kind of going, "You're not meant to worry about this news story. This war's going on, stuff. You never listen to them."
Do you remember the story of the worms with the teeth? Should we be alarmed ourselves? What was the information?
It was just saying how it was all about nature versus nurture thing,
Right.
and saying how worms that are growing up in a family where there's loads of food around,
What do you mean growing up in a family?
just a family of worms in the soil.
Right.
They're going through the soil. If there's loads of food for everyone, and they don't have to fight for food,
Right.
they're quite happy. They don't have teeth. The ones like the rougher worms, where there's not enough, it's like a massive family that kids left, right, and centre, but they haven't got the nutrients to feed them all. They fight against each other, and the ones they're growing teeth now.
I didn't hear the news story, so I'm going out on a limb here. I don't think it was about a worm being maybe more working class and chavvy though, with like big families. Look at that, their big family can't even feed them all. And then you got middle class worms going, well, we've got enough food for everyone because we haven't overbred.
You know what people are like now? They've got researchers watching all sorts of stuff,
Right.
keeping their eye on everything. When you don't have to worry about it. A worm with teeth, if they've got teeth or not, to me it is not a problem. Not a problem at all. I normally save a worm if I see one
So,
in the rain, on a pavement. If I see it there, I go, someone's going to stand on that, and I chuck it, and I sort of watch it for a bit, see which way it was going, give it an helping hand.
see which way it was going, like it had an aim.
Well,
See
they do.
which,
No, they do though, don't they? They're always going somewhere.
yeah.
He was going to the dentist.
You can't tell. You don't know which end its head's on.
Do you check that it's got teeth first? Because there's some crunchy food or there's some soft food.
Like I said, it doesn't concern me, but I listen to it because it's on the radio.
Okay, so it's 8:05. Suzanne's gone out. You've rubbed the back of her head. She's took the rubbish out. You're there. Pants, t-shirt,
No socks.
no socks yet. What happens to the bowls of ex cornflakes? Where do they go? Have you got?
I wash up.
You wash up. That's the next thing you do, is it? Right. Okay.
Now then, do you plan ahead for the day? Do you think to yourself, Carl, make a list of stuff to do, or do you just let it go?
I let it happen. I don't like the worst thing for me is planning.
Yeah,
I've told you before.
You don't get anything done by planning, is what you said.
I don't like the idea of waking up going, I've got to do that today, because that's when you don't look forward to doing the thing.
Yep.
Whereas I get up, I'm washing up, I'll look at a wall and I'll go, those tiles aren't very good, I'm going to rip them off. So,
Jesus Christ. This is amazing. This is amazing. I mean, forget Idiot Abroad. Forget the Ricky Gervais show. Let's just have 24/7 Carl Cam. Just think how that would look. He gets up, Suzanne leaves, we get him to, he looks at a wall.
He starts tearing the tiles off. Yeah. It looks like the behaviour of a psychopath, doesn't it?
Oh, so...
Are there handles on the inside of your house?
This is what worries me, though. The fact that you're always doing DIY suggests that you didn't do a good job in the first place.
No,
Steve, am I wrong?
I never ever do the same thing twice. Once it's done, it's done. I do it right. I take my time. I get it done right.
So this is other people's workmanship that you're undoing and doing properly. Okay, right.
Now the radio's in the bedroom, so you can't listen to the radio when you're doing your work.
I normally drag it through.
You drag it through. How big is it?
No, it's just a little clock radio thing.
So it's plugged in. Okay.
Then,
well, hang on a minute. Let's go back, because presumably you've dismantled the tiles. You've got to pop down and get all your supplies, haven't you, from B&Q or somewhere?
Well, I went to home base. Might have a walk there if the weather's nice.
Yeah.
25-minute walk. That's all right.
25 minutes, a bit of a jaunt though, because you got to carry all the stuff back, haven't you?
Depends what I'm buying. If I'm just buying a tub of adhesive, I can handle that. It's if you're getting heavier stuff.
What do you do in that case?
Drive.
Okay, get the motor.
Yeah. But I don't like shifting that, because you lose your parking space.
Do you put
Doesn't like moving the car because he loses his parking space, so don't use the car for fear of losing the parking space.
Yeah.
Not if I can help it.
Now, question. When you go to home base or B&Q or some sort of tile shop or a lumber yard, do you affect a more working class accent, like I've heard Steve talking to his carpenters?
I always do that, yeah.
I don't have to talk to anyone. I know exactly what I'm getting. Straight in there. I know the layout. I've been in there plenty of times. I might have a bit of a browse whilst I'm there. I like looking at different tools.
So if it wasn't for meeting up with me and Steve and Suzanne being home between, I don't know, 6 o'clock at night and 8 the next morning, you wouldn't talk to anyone, would you?
Do you have any friends that you might talk to?
Yeah, I talk to some people on the phone. But then I soon get bored with that.
Right.
About 5 minutes in, I realise I'm not listening anymore.
Aristotle once observed, law is order, and good law is good order. A seemingly simple concept, but the realities of making those good laws and enforcing them have troubled society since time immemorial. From community service to capital punishment, everyone has a view on how we protect the innocent and punish the guilty. Is one man's law another man's tyranny? Is justice available to all? Does prison work? Should we lock up lawbreakers and throw away the key, or does that fail to address the root causes of crime? To discuss these questions and more, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, award-winning writer and graduate of the University of Warwick.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington. Look at that fucking head.
Right.
So, Karl, law and order.
Not that interested in it, to be honest.
What do you mean?
I've got no interest in law and order whatsoever. It's not part of my life. That's the problem. You keep picking topics that don't buzz me.
Of course they do.
They don't.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this.
You're a man quite obsessed with law and order.
Based on what?
Well, law and order is basically to protect the innocent, isn't it? I mean, when we think of law and order, we usually think of crime and punishment, but it's all about protect our person. We have the right to walk the streets without getting mugged. When someone wrongs us, we want justice. It's fundamental. And you do. You were sitting in your old flat in London, phoning me every day that you wanted to go downstairs and smack their heads in for being late and shouting around and being drunk, and you could hear it. You wanted some justice.
Yeah, but nothing would have happened if I'd called someone up and said there's people doing noise pollution. Even though there's a law for noise pollution now, it's not really taken seriously, is it? Well,
but you are concerned with law and order.
No,
you
but
wanted your
point.
rights, and you ended up moving. He's moved here now. He's moved to lovely sunny Hampstead, just down the road from us. so you're having a better life.
Yeah,
So
but I shouldn't have to move because of some noisy people.
no, you shouldn't. But I'm saying you were
No one
stressed
cares, though.
and you wanted justice, but you thought you couldn't get justice, so you moved away.
Yeah, so I dealt with it in my way.
Yeah,
I
right.
hated them.
Right.
Because they didn't care about anyone else.
Exactly.
But the police wouldn't get involved. There's other people who live around there who had to put up with it. But no one cared.
So what did it feel like every night when you were trying to watch telly and it's hot and you got the window open, or?
No, you could just hear stuff. And you know, it's that thing of, you get a lot of tourists in London, so they're talking. It's not even as if you can listen in to what they're saying and have a view on their opinion, because they're foreign.
Would that be entertaining for you?
Well, yeah, because if you can hear what people are saying, you go, yeah, that's a
Switch the
good point.
telly off.
Oh, you know, there's some
I
sort
don't
of-
want to hear anyone talking. I'll tell you what, really feel sorry for people with like neighbours from hell. Because it's, I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's justified, but I can see why people go mental with someone when they're bullied or, you know, constantly harassed and no one cares. And when you can't go to the police, you can't go to the police and go, there's a bloke next door, he's got his telly on loud, he's always pissed, he's shouting about, if you don't do something, I'm going to go around there and crack his head in. You're the one that...
But isn't it your own fault for living in central London?
Well, not really, because it wasn't always like that. I'd been there years, and then all of a sudden, you know, good fellas turn up. They sat down there making a racket. What can you say to them? You call down, they can't hear the phone ringing.
Could I just say that Goodfellas wasn't a pizza joint? He
No.
called the loud people that because he thought they were gangsters, because
Right,
they
sure.
did what they wanted and sat outside and...
Yeah.
So, but it's louder. I think it is louder abroad than it is here. Whenever I go away on holiday, I always notice that it's always a couple of decibels higher.
Really?
Always. Like the sound of bird noises and that are louder abroad. Because they're trying to get a nut above the noise of the noisy people.
No, that's not true.
They are. When I was in, where was I? Menorca or something. It was like lying there. If it wasn't a noisy local, it was the people in the villa next door. If it's not them, they suddenly collected the bottles from the bottle bank. That's a nice noise when you're just relaxing. The bottle bank. Just pop that there where the villa is. So that was a racket. There was always there was just so much noise.
Animals, creatures.
You can't escape. It's the one thing you can't escape. Noise. Your ears never turn off.
No.
They're always there.
But I've told you before, wear earplugs if you have to.
I don't like it.
But he doesn't like... He says he can hear the sound of his own art.
Well, there's always a sound. Like your eyes, you can close them. My eyes close all the time. When if I don't like the look of something,
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah.
if I don't like the look of something, they close before even I've thought about if I want to see it or not.
What do you
They're
think?
ahead.
What do you think exactly?
I just mean if I see something on the telly or like one of those casualty programs or something,
Yeah.
it's like my eyes know that I'm not going to like the look of it.
But no.
So they
you're-
close
no,
quicker.
No.
My ears, they seem to be interested in everything. Even though I'm not.
What I mean is, you can't close your ears.
Yeah,
you
that's
can't.
what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't. You can never.
So that's
no,
why
I like the idea that your eyes are closing when you... I was watching that.
Yeah,
what are you doing,
have your eyes? Have your eyes ever closed something that you're going?
No, they normally get it right.
Your eyes aren't
They
making
normally
any
get it right.
decisions. You're making decisions. You turn away because you don't like seeing something. You don't turn away, and then you're going, "What was that?" And your eyes going, "You don't want to know. You do not know. You don't want to know."
I'm just
Carl.
saying anyway.
Lovely pair of tits here. Oh, I can't believe it!
I just mean noise pollution. It's the one thing you can't escape.
It seems to me, from what you've said so far, is that these things happen to you and you feel wronged, but you either want to close your eyes and ears so you can't tell it's happening, but it's carrying on, or move away from it so you're not a victim anymore, but it's carrying on. But the thing about law and order is, you don't have to take it. You don't have to walk away. You can do something about it. You can combat being wronged. And I suppose we associate that with justice. It's not just punishment or retribution, it's justice. You want to know that you're valued.
You know, this is a big issue, isn't it, Rick? Is one life more important than another? If you've transgressed in a terrible way, you've murdered or raped, whatever, and I say I'm going to put you to death because you do not belong in this society. You are too transgressive. What's to stop me? Why is that wrong? Why is that a morally wrong thing to do?
Well,
Carl?
this is an interesting argument, isn't it? Whether capital punishment. I don't agree with execution. State execution of someone, whatever they've done, for many reasons. But the main one is, I don't think you can have a state that shows that sort of violence against an individual, whatever they've done, and expect people to accept the very code and morality of treating people equally and not showing violence towards them.
Carl, where do you stand on the tricky issue of capital punishment? You've given it some serious thought, I imagine.
So what, you asking me, like, should he be on death row?
Well, should someone flip the switch, send him to his death in the electric chair?
Yeah.
That was the least considered.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a little bit of flicker behind the eyes. I don't know what. Well, just take us through the mental process that you arrived at the yes with there. So you've been. I remember that because there was quite a brief gap there.
I just was thinking, it's not a nice job if you work in there and you've got to flick the switch.
Right.
But I was wondering if it's possible to just do it so it's linked up to someone's switch.
What do you mean?
When they put the lights on or something. So it's like sometime tonight when the sun goes down and people start putting the lights on in their house, it could happen. But we don't know what household. They might be away on holiday, so you might get an extra 2 weeks. But at least that way, because for me, the worst.
You should say that.
This is not the question I asked was whether we were talking about the morality of whether you put someone to death.
But he was thinking about.
He was thinking about literally the practicality of flipping the switch.
Well, no, I think that aren't you talking about the integrity of the person who knows or knows not that they've put someone to death, like a firing squad, like what they used to do sometimes in the First World War when they had 6 riflemen, but
Only
5 were blanks and one had and no one knew
if they were the person that killed them.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, you do agree that someone should be put to death for a terrible crime, do you?
You've got to have something there to stop them people who don't care, haven't you? Nature's done it in a way with bees. They've gone, we've give you a weapon, but if you use it, you die. And that's like the bee. Well, so they're worried they're going to go, I'm not going to do it.
We do, won't we? We have people saying, 1, you can't do that. That's step 1. Here's the law. Don't do it.
But there's a lot of people who go, I'm not bothered about the law. I'm not bothered about annoying people.
Yeah, that's true.
So for them, at the end of the scale, you've got the chair, and you stick the wires on their head, and we'll fry your head. And they go, oh God, I don't want that.
That doesn't always work, does it? With being put to death, because as a deterrent, most of the crimes aren't just crimes of gain. With that, some of them are crimes of passion, where a deterrent doesn't count because you see red and you go crazy and you're angry and you kill someone. I think a lot of those crimes, the deterrent isn't relevant. You know, things like armed robbery, maybe, where it's a risk. What can I get versus what my crime? Maybe then it might be a deterrent. But then, of course, if you start to get a capital punishment for crimes that aren't murdering someone, then that thing brings in you might as well murder them, because then you've got more chance of getting away with it. So it's very delicate what you make people be killed for.
You've made an interesting and reasoned argument there, Rick. I'm looking forward to hearing the riposte.
Right. When I was younger, I used to nick Mars bars.
Okay.
Right. Now, I did that then, and I knew that even if I get caught, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to prison over that. But it was worth nicking because the Mars bar, they were like 45 pence.
Sure.
When you're a kid, you can get a lot of chewing nuts for that.
Chewing nuts?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they like caramel covered in chocolate. Last ages. Quite hard.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you suck the chocolate off and then you got to chew them until they're... Yeah, I know, yeah.
Now, I could afford them at 10 pence a bag. They'd last me sort of a morning. A Mars bar was a proper treat. There's a lot going on in there. A lot of chocolate, a lot of caramel.
Yeah.
Like I say, 45 pence.
Yeah.
So... To me,
that was like an advert that went wrong just to the end. They started off good. They go, this fly's good. He's you go there. Mars bars a lot in it. It's like, oh good, keep going. Yeah, it's got caramel. It's like, yeah. But it's 45 pence, which is too fucking much. So fucking nick it, you cunt.
But when I was younger, that was worth a risk because I knew that I'd be getting something worth 45 pence for free.
You weren't going to get the electric
and
chair.
I wasn't going to get done. So the stakes were high, the risk were low.
No, wait. You mean the stakes were high, the risk were low?
I think he's just trying to sound cool.
The stakes weren't high. The stakes are what can happen to you, and the risk. The stakes and the risk are the same. The risk is the stake. Okay, yeah, unless you're nicking meat from a butcher's, then the stakes are high and the risk is low. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but what you meant was
It was
the
worth
gain
a
was
risk.
high.
The game was high.
Yeah,
The game was high.
yeah, the risk was low.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't, was it? Because 45p isn't a lot unless you're
It
a
is
kid.
when you're a kid.
It is when you're a kid.
Because I was getting
but then
50
surely
pence.
getting caught for nicking a Mars bar's higher when you're a kid.
No, it's not. Look, you see, most of the time, I didn't want to say which shop it was that I nicked it from, but it's where I did my paper round. Now the thing is,
So it's nicking from your own boss.
but listen, I used to wake him up.
that
I helped
is
him
terrible.
run. No, because
That is terrible.
This is awful.
That
Go
is-
on, hang on. I
that
want to
is
hear.
really
I want to hear him
bad.
rationalise his
Because that
terrible
sweet
crime.
old man who used to give...
He's not an old man. I used to go round and
Sweet
wake
little
him
old
up.
man.
Right, he
Yeah.
hated running that place.
Right.
If anything, I'd say I was his best asset.
Well, not really.
Yeah,
Because I don't
He
know
was
what...
nicking from him. He was
Yeah,
thieving from him.
I don't know how much he
business.
made on papers, but he'd probably go 45p profit. Hold on.
They got their papers really early because I got up early.
Yeah.
I used to go round to the
Well, you know,
shop
a
at half
Mars a
past
day helps you work, rest, and steal.
4. So I used to go round there, wake him up. He'd be like, "What are you doing round here so early?"
Don't know. I'm just hungry. What? I'm just hungry for work.
No.
Oh well, good boy. Bit. I'm just going to turn away a minute.
Yeah.
While you stand there in front of the confectionery. I'll turn away now, and I've looked back now, and here's the papers. And thanks so much, Carl, because you're a lovely
He's like
kid.
an honourable and trustworthy
Yeah, I can't
guy.
really afford to.
I've been betrayed so many times. That's why
Yeah.
my lovely wife's no longer with me. You know, she ran off with Ken.
Yeah, but I mean, at least I've got a friend.
At least you've got one young
You turn
friend.
up early. Oh God, it's brilliant. Oh, and Carl, keep a lookout because
Someone's been nicking Mars bars.
Yeah, I know it's not you because I trust you implicitly. And by the way, Carl, why don't you take a Mars bar for free? Oh, thanks.
Well, that never happened.